Everybody, yeah, walk your body, yeah. Everybody, walk your body right.
Bow wow, bow wow.
Backstage back, alright. Oh my God, we're back again.
Nope.
Hi guys, and welcome to the Cutting Room Floor podcast. I'm Laura, and I like all things Marvel, murder, and marine. And joining me each week will be my co-host Brian, and co-creator of this podcast. He is awesome, and what he doesn't know isn't really worth knowing. So let's get on with the episode.
Hey Laura.
Hi Brian.
Hey, guess what?
What?
It's time for the next episode of the podcast.
No.
Yeah.
Yay! It's podcast time.
That's a new intro, guys. We got it. We nailed it. I don't know what I'm doing.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm alright. How are you?
Good.
I'm a bit tired today.
Just had dinner. It was good.
Oh yeah. And we just seen Rick and Morty season 3 episode 2.
Ooh, yeah.
Which was excellent. So
It's good, wasn't it?
yeah.
Oh, we're not going to have Game of Thrones talk.
No, we haven't seen Game of Thrones.
We haven't watched it yet.
No, we are not up to date, unfortunately.
No, we'll watch it later.
Yeah. Alright. Well, anyway, what's on the cards for today, hey?
Dunkirk.
Yeah, we are talking about Dunkirk. We watched this the other day. Christopher Nolan's next epic, I guess.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, nice. And yeah. Do you like Christopher Nolan?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Rises, The Prestige. I hate Memento. But that's good odds, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Not bad going at all. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I'm pretty big fan of the old Batmans as well.
But what did you think of Dunkirk?
Well. Okay.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, middle?
Yeah. I know. I like Dunkirk. I thought it was great.
It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah. Pretty solid film in general. It was maybe a bit better than I thought it was going to be, but it shouldn't really be a surprise at this point that Christopher Nolan can produce a good film. You know?
No.
But yeah, no, real good.
I thought it was very, very good. And I cried a little bit at the end. So that's always the sign of a good film for me.
There you go. Podcast over. Done. We did it, guys. Yeah. It was very good. I didn't really know that much about what Dunkirk was going to be about because I didn't bother looking that up beforehand.
Yeah, but you did it at school, right? Like
Probably. I don't remember anything I did at school, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like... Historically, people saw it as like a bit of a defeat, I guess, because obviously the Germans had taken up so much of the taken so much into France.
Yeah.
But then it was also seen as a huge success because they got more people off the beaches than they were expecting to.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So it's kind of like a bit of both. Like, yes, they did have to like get all the Allied troops off of the beaches, so it meant that Germany could advance, but it did mean that they never got into England.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they eventually got back and won the war.
Yeah.
And it was nice that it was a story that was predominantly like England and France. Like many of the Hollywood blockbuster war films traditionally have the American forces, and obviously, like, I'm not taking away from what the American forces did in the war, but it's nice to see a film that doesn't include the American forces.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a different angle on it. I think Christopher Nolan must just be a huge fan of British people. He does have a lot of them in his films as well. No, I it was nice from all angles in that respect. Like, it was cool. It was cool for those reasons you just said, and also I quite like that it was a war film that was sort of, I guess, a bit more anti-war, because American action war films tend to have a sort of glossed over edge where the Americans are the best.
At any point did you see blood?
Not
really.
I think so. No, actually, that's a good point.
And that, I think, was a really good, like you don't need to use, you know, tomato ketchup spewed, you know, like loads and loads of blood to kind of show how graphic it is. And I also liked the fact that there was not much dialogue.
Yeah, absolutely. There were maybe like 5 lines.
It used the music and also that to bring in tension.
Yeah.
Rather than having a load of dialogue and backstory that you know, sometimes is actually unnecessary faff.
Yeah.
To a film.
It was clear that he has been working on this idea for a long time, because the film is very, very definitely structured in the way that he wanted to.
I believe he's been working on it for about 20 years, and part of the reason that he didn't do it earlier is because he wanted to work on some big budget Hollywood movies before he produced it, because he wanted to be able to use like techniques. He'd only be able to learn them working on big budgets, because like he didn't use any CGI in Dunkirk at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all done with extras and cardboard
cutouts of
cutouts
for the
to make the battles seem bigger, and even so much as the flight scenes with Tom Hardy and the other man, they were
both great, by the way. They were both
they
really good.
they were yes. They, I think, had the most lines.
Yeah, I think they did.
Out of everybody. They had 2 cockpits, so there was a pilot flying one and they were in the other, so they were actually flying in the air rather than it being like on a set or anything.
So Tom Hardy could act his heart out and didn't have to worry about actually flying the plane. And then some guy could fly the plane and he could be like in the air. That is it's very cool, very impressive. I heard that it cost a shite load for the replica planes as well.
Yeah, they used some planes from Duxford.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the Spitfires, they were loaned from Duxford, and a lot of the boats that they used were boats that had been in the Dunkirk crossing. So the boat that you spend all the time on
Yeah.
that was a boat from the original crossing that had just been, like some of them had been in Dunkirk, but they were different vessels, so they were made to look up to be something different. And the beach was the Dunkirk beach.
Yeah. It was.
So he really thought about it, and actually.
Authenticity is pretty important to him, absolutely. In this, and I think it all 100% pays off. Really, it looks stunning. It looks great. Visually, the whole thing is just amazing. The guy who did the cinematography, Hoyt van Hoytema, I have no idea if that's how you say his actual name. He's great.
They've worked together before, haven't they?
Yeah, they have done, at least on Interstellar. I don't know about before that, but I presume they've worked together on lots of stuff. You can sort of pick up his visual style, I think, on some of the other films as well. Maybe Inception. I don't know. He sort of has that kind of thing. But speaking more along that, the 70% of this film is IMAX.
I don't know what that means.
So IMAX are a certain type of camera that are really big, really expensive, really high quality, non-digital format.
The only thing I know about it, that I did some reading, is that you can, if you use IMAX, you can shoot at night.
You get better quality at night. Yeah,
that's all I know about it.
So they are usually really massive, great hulking cameras that people don't like using because they're very expensive. But also because they're so awkward. But he set up some IMAX cameras on rigs and attached them to the sides of the planes.
Yeah, he did it on the planes, didn't he?
And stuff like that. So in a similar sort of way to Interstellar, where you get a lot of shots of the outside of the spaceship in Interstellar, like all the time, pretty much. In this, you get a lot of shots of the outside of the plane. So, very impressive. 70% of the film in IMAX, which is a lot.
Yeah. Isn't that the most that a film has been filmed in IMAX?
Yeah, absolutely. And the difference you can usually tell because they'll have black bars top and bottom, and then when it's on IMAX, it'll be full screen, and then it'll go back to black bars.
So. Unless you're watching it in IMAX, are you going to tell any difference?
You'll still see it go from black bars to non-black bars.
But I mean, like picture quality.
Quality will be slightly different, I suspect, but it won't be anywhere near the same as because it's a non-digital format. So when we see it in every other cinema screen that exists, it's converted to digital. So
does non-digital mean then it's done on a film?
Yeah. Absolutely. Hence why it's 70mm. That's a definition of the type of film that's used, the size of the film that they use.
So what does the 65mm mean?
It's just a smaller. It's the same.
But why is it... Okay, so why...
So the 70mm... The IMAX cameras are massive non-digital cameras that have incredibly powerful lenses and incredibly... lots of technique and stuff goes into them. And they're quite... They're high quality for a whole load of reasons. One of the reasons is that it's 70mm. That's the size of the film inside. Mm-hmm. That means that bigger film, high quality picture. 65mm cameras were used for the rest of it, and they were used exclusively for the scenes with dialogue. And the reason is because IMAX cameras are really you can have really quiet dialogue and record it with the slightly lower quality camera.
So
the mill isn't the only quality difference between the regular cameras and the IMAX.
I might be being stupid. So when they're going, come and see this in 65mm.
Yeah.
Is that meaning that there's going to be a projector like?
Yeah.
So normally, if you're at a regular cinema, it's basically, I know it's not, but it's effectively like putting like a USB or a DVD or something in it.
Exactly.
And then, so that's why everyone's like, come it, because it's on a
Yeah.
you know, old school. Well, not old school. It's probably still quite modern.
Well,
but it's on like a projector.
I don't know how long ago it was now, but maybe 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, they replaced every non-digital screen in the UK with digital cinema screens. So there was a massive conversion. And so
would you, I guess, if you wanted to see it in 65mm, you'd have to go to specific cinemas.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't just go down to the local and watch it.
Not our local, but some places like Cineworld and stuff still have particular. Yeah. But yeah, no, IMAX is expensive. Again, digital means that it's very easy to distribute because you just like send an email. Well, you don't send an email, but yeah, you could just attach it to an email if you wanted and forward it to a cinema to view it. It's IMAX.
It'd be a big file though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably. IMAX screens are few and far between. Non-digital 65mm screens are few and far between, and they have to pay for the distribution, they have to pay for the copies, and then they get sent out to the cinema, so it's quite different. And
what was the reason for filming it in 65mm? Like, well, just for
I think Christopher Nolan is obsessed with IMAX. He's always done IMAX in every single one of his films.
Does it give it depth or like?
So a lot of people, it's an interesting question because a lot of people would argue that the better quality you can achieve from the bigger file on the hard drive. You know, you can store a ridiculous amount of high pixel density quality video on a hard drive compared to what you could store on a film reel. Like the size comparison is completely different. But Christopher Nolan absolutely loves IMAX. He just loves the format. He loves, just purely on that alone, he loves non-digital formats. And so if he could afford it, I think he would film the
entire thing.
If he didn't want to have any dialogue, he could just film the entire thing in IMAX, and he would be quite happy to do that. To be honest, but no, he it's sort of like the old like record player debate.
He's sort of going like old school, I suppose, but for like a modern era.
And he believes that the quality of the IMAX cameras trump the quality of digital at the moment, which I mean,
and they're obviously more expensive as well than digital. Okay,
more expensive in every way, basically. Even distribution. But well,
I thought it was very pretty, and I didn't notice. Like it didn't register to me that the screen was changing. No.
I guess because a lot of the film was IMAX,
there would only be little sections of it.
Yeah. But no, it's an interesting subject which is under much debate as to whether or not it's
worth it. And
exactly. I mean, because there are other things like how you record the sound and stuff which come into play. Speaking of, actually, the sound design in this film was ridiculous.
Oh, it was amazing.
You were a bit terrified.
It was because I've never, other than Guardians of the Galaxy, but for a different reason, this is one of the first films I've seen that puts so much more emphasis on the music than
absolutely
the dialogue.
Hans Zimmer's soundtrack in this
was incredible.
It kind of puts his Batman vs Superman soundtrack to shame,
wasn't it? Like it was a whole nother level, and I think that was because for that film the music was second place. But I think for this was always going to be the music needs to portray the atmosphere of the film because there is no dialogue. Because I think
absolutely
that it must have been half an hour, 45 minutes into the film before anyone even started talking.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
before you heard the first word. Because I did read somewhere that he wanted the whole thing to be a silent film.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It just didn't.
Again, he'd be quite happy to do that with his IMAX cameras. Maybe that was the reason.
Didn't. It didn't quite work as a completely silent film, but I think.
Well, I think the we'll get to it, but the flying scenes probably wouldn't have worked as well.
No.
Without talking.
And I think the lack of dialogue made you actually appreciate
visually what was happening.
What was going on. And also, I don't know if you felt it, but like it gave me a real sense of like sort of what it would have been like to have been there, because like, you know,
nobody's talking to each other.
Some of these boys, you know, 18, 19 years old, stuck on a beach, not knowing if they're gonna be able to get home.
Leaflets flying through the air saying, we've surrounded you, you're gonna die.
Yeah, you're gonna die. Like, who is gonna be having a chat going, we've been on this beach for 3.5 weeks, like, come and this is where no one's gonna be having those conversations.
Definitely
you're
not.
just gonna be doing all you can to survive.
Yeah.
You don't have the energy to have a conversation. So actually, I think doing it that way with minimal dialogue was the best way of doing it.
Definitely. And I think the music wasn't the only good bit of the sound design either. The actual sounds of everything was...
Oh, yeah, like the guns and...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you know about when they produce sounds for films, but they mostly fake every sound that you hear.
Yeah.
So when the bombers are going over the beach and it is like deafening in the cinema, like we were in it was just a D-box screen. I don't know what that must have whacked up the sound system or something, but there was
that first one when the plane came over, I think I did poo my pants. It was terrifying.
When it starts, like, it sounds like a normal plane in a normal Hollywood film, and then it just gets louder and louder and louder, and this high pitched like screeching. It's fucking wow. It's wild good, and the gunshots.
Gunshots.
Every gunshot, because it was so quiet. The film, every gunshot was like, bam, right in your face. It was great.
I wonder if that was, partly to bring that atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. It was 100% deliberate. The whole thing.
Yeah.
It was.
I don't imagine it will be as good, like on DVD or like Blu-ray.
We've got an alright sound
unless
system.
you have a decent surround sound.
Yeah.
But if you're just playing it out of TV speakers, like I can't imagine it's going to have the same impact. But
Apocalypse Now effect. When my uncle got his new sound system 20 years ago, 15 years ago, he got his first all new 5.1 sound system, and we were at a family barbecue, and obviously we were supposed to be outside and having fun or whatever, but he was like, I got this new sound system, and I was like, well, nice, cool, and he brought all the lads in and showed us. It was first thing was on Apocalypse Now, opening scene, just crazy good.
Did you poop your pants?
Always. I had not seen the film at the time. I didn't really know what was going to happen. But yeah, no, it was sound is quite important to me. One of my friends is massively obsessed with sound design, and so he's rubbed off on me a little bit. His sound system is disgustingly expensive. He's a madman. But we've got like a sort of low mid-range 5.1, which is fine.
Yeah. It's weird when I can hear it behind me.
Yeah.
I'm still not used to it.
I just love the PS4 surround sound. It's great.
Yeah.
Playing GTA. GTA is great because driving, it changes dynamically depending on whether you're in the car first person or whether you're outside the car in third person, which is cool. And games like slightly scarier games that are built on atmosphere, like Metro.
Ugh, gross.
Just creepy as when you're going through tunnels and you just hear like things rattling behind you and stuff. It's great, so good. But that's enough about sound design. Phenomenal. Hans Zimmer, I feel like, leave the man to his own devices.
Oh yeah.
Never get him working with someone.
Just
the Wonder Woman theme is a Junkie XL, I guess, more than a Hans Zimmer, but it's good. But that's easily the best thing that came out of that partnership. Yeah, it's great, and also recognizable. Unlike every other piece of music from that film, I could have sworn half of the Batman vs Superman soundtrack was from Man of Steel. But we are not talking about Batman vs Superman today.
No, we're
not. We've touched on him already, but let's talk about the guy on the front cover, Fionn Whitehead. So he's the guy who plays. He's just credited as Tommy, although I don't think he's ever named in the film. He's the guy that we follow to the mall.
That kid is the luckiest kid in the world. He survives not 1, not 2, but 3 ship explosions. He gets off 3 boats.
Yeah, completely. Well, I mean, I was thinking even before that, he's a lucky SOB because the start of the film has him and his squad get just completely annihilated in these empty streets. It's ridiculous. But then it really does set the stakes from the beginning. Yeah. It's very much like you're gonna die. Yeah. I find it interesting.
Like you're walking on that fine line between life and death.
Yeah.
And I guess that's it. Like, some people survived, some people didn't, and it wasn't anything to do with training or, it was luck and where you were at the certain time.
Definitely. I find it particularly interesting that we never saw a single German soldier. That was deliberate as well.
Yeah.
And I like that because, again, it's not really about them. It's about the threat. It's about knowing, and it's about survival.
And that's what makes it scary. Like, you don't see the enemy.
Yeah, absolutely. And quite honestly, particularly in that beginning scene, you wouldn't see them anyway. If they knew, if you're walking down the middle of the street, there's going to be a German in a building. Or I've played Battlefield 1. I know this stuff. But you just don't see anyone in that kind of situation, and then you respawn, and then it's fine.
I don't think you can respawn in real war, babe.
Okay, all right. I'll cancel my registration then. Just carry on playing Battlefield 1. No,
he was
good.
a solid.
Yeah.
That was.
He was very expressionful.
Yeah,
for a guy
that was one thing
lines.
About the other thing what I read about Christopher Nolan, because a lot of the soldiers were like inexperienced and young. Like, that's why he chose like really unknown
younger
people.
Absolutely.
And all British and French.
And then Harry Styles.
I didn't. Well, he's an unknown.
Yeah, I guess. I wasn't.
I couldn't fault him.
Yeah, he was fine, wasn't he?
He was fine.
Yeah.
He did his lines. He stood where he was meant to stand. I've heard a lot of talk that people are saying that potentially his portrayal was Oscar worthy. I don't really feel that, because I don't think he did enough to warrant it.
Yeah, well, no, absolutely not.
But what he did do was
pretty good. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, he portrayed the emotions he was supposed to portray. And
he stood there like a robot. He did what he was told.
Well,
I don't know. No,
I don't know. But like, everything that he was supposed to be doing, he did.
Yeah.
So I can't but I don't think there was enough of him or enough dialogue to say whether he's a good or a bad actor.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I think that's fair. With all these, I guess, celebrity cameos and stuff recently, like, I don't know, people really heavily critiquing them, but who cares?
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, Harry Styles is much more than a cameo in this film, absolutely.
Yeah.
And he did a pretty good job, I would say. Yeah. Speaking of like people who star in this film, there are a lot of people who are just credited as soldier number whatever.
Yeah, but that's like, unfortunately, that's sort of what happened in war. You know, so many people got like left on the beaches and like never managed to make it home.
Yeah.
That, like, you know, you don't know who some people are, and you know.
Yeah.
I think everything in this film was really, really thought about.
Yeah, I would say so.
I wanted to talk about the one. So obviously there are a lot of civilian boats that are used.
Yeah. So.
But we obviously see one boat. And I wanted to talk about the fact that the only person that we see die, that like we as an audience have like a rapport with, for want of a better word, is that boy George on the boat. We also see the French soldier in the mole or on the beach.
Yeah.
But I guess we're maybe not supposed to feel such sympathy for him because he's being a naughty.
No. But absolutely, we are supposed to feel sympathy for him. Yeah.
But like, he wasn't even supposed to be there. He jumped aboard the boat, you know, because he's 17 years old.
All he's trying to do is survive.
He's just trying to help, isn't he, really?
Oh, you're talking about George. I thought you were talking about the French.
Sorry,
the French guy.
no, I'm talking about George. Yeah. He just jumps on the boat because
he feels like it's his duty.
He's trying to help out. He isn't a soldier. He isn't fighting in the war.
Yeah.
And then he's one of the only people that we actually see die.
Yeah.
And I think that is just showing that, you know, war casualty wasn't only the soldiers. You know, there were lots of casualties of war. And that made me very, very sad.
Yeah, that was pretty emotional.
He was only trying to help. And then the lovely other boy, the son, wrote that lovely article and got him in the paper.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was sad.
It was.
But yeah, and then the little French soldier, he was just trying to survive.
Yeah, just like everyone else.
And I think we guessed that pretty early on, didn't we?
Well, yeah, it was pretty obvious that he wasn't a British soldier when he was on the beach, I suppose.
Did you guess it from the very beginning?
Well, he wasn't going to be a German soldier. I could tell you that pretty much halfway through.
Yeah.
Because you were more invested in him than you would be a German soldier at this point. Because of course what he'd been through and survived. If they were going to have him become a villain, then it wouldn't have worked. Given
did you from the very beginning when
when he's on the beach,
when he was burying that other soldier? Yeah,
as I said,
did you then?
Yeah.
It took me a bit longer to work it out, but I got there.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Well, let's talk about the main thematic device of the film then, which we basically touched on. So it's there are three major, I guess, scenes or stories or arcs in this film, set out in a sort of triptych, and they are.
The mole.
The mole. So on the beach, on the pier, basically, I think that's what the mole is. I think the mole is
the bit that comes out.
The long sort of pier that's quite thin, where the boats dock.
So the mole is set over a week. The civilian boats leaving and rescuing is set over a day, and then anything that happens in the air is set over an hour.
Yeah.
I found it quite confusing.
Yeah.
Because there were parts where you would obviously see the longest part, so the mole, and so there was a certain scene in the film where they're having a dogfight between the German and the English fighter planes.
Yeah.
And the civilian boats are going across, and so you effectively see a small portion of the film from what would be 3 different angles.
Yeah.
You see the boats leave, you see the civilian boats and the dogfight, and then what you realise towards the end is that you're then seeing it from 3 different perspectives.
Yeah, yeah.
Which was fine, but you did have to pay a lot of attention, and it was only, I think, probably the last 20 minutes where I was like, oh wait,
yeah, it was very confusing.
that was, and it was like that bit with Tom Hardy where Tom Hardy thinks his friend is waving at him and he waves back, and what is actually happening is that he can't get out of his plane that has crash landed on the water.
So he's
struggling to get out.
His hand through the hole, yeah.
And then the boat comes and gets him, and then you're also seeing it from the point of view of the guys on the beach as well.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was good because it was interesting. But yeah, absolutely, the fighter plane stuff. Basically, because it was set in such a short amount of time, you sort of got a glimpse of the future of the rest of the scenes all the time.
Yeah.
The whole film, and that was just a bit,
Yeah.
You had to pay attention. You didn't have to pay as much attention as Memento, but
no.
but no, it was confusing.
I understood Dunkirk. I didn't understand Memento.
He was a man who killed his wife by injecting her repeatedly with her own medicine when he wasn't supposed to.
That's not what I got from that film.
He gets told the story. He has no short-term memory. He gets told a story. No, he has no long-term memory. His memory resets every day to a point in his long-term memory from the past, and he gets told a story about a man who had a sick wife, and this man, because he had short-term memory problems, would consistently forget what he was doing and inject her with her medicine, and so he would overdose her every day because he would forget that he's done it already.
Oh.
And that's pretty much the entire point of the film.
I think I wish I didn't know about it now.
Yeah, well,
because now you've made me sad.
It's a bit depressing. It's a bit weird. Like that, it didn't feel like the build-up to the end of the plot of that film. And the twist being that that's him is nowhere near as interesting as the lead up. So it feels a bit like cheap. But it doesn't matter. No, it's not really important. Sorry. Yeah. No, I liked that. I liked that about it, but it was confusing. Speaking about the civilian boat stuff, because I guess we touched on the others. Yeah, they're pretty good. Like I like that the guy Mark Rylance, the older man, the dad,
the captain.
I like his just relentless. Like I want to be a part of this war. I want to do my part, kind of thing. It was very patriotic. It's kind of nice.
I think it's also because his son had died.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you find out towards the end of the film that his son was an RAF pilot
who flew hurricanes
and died 3 weeks into the war. So are we 3 years in?
Quite a while in this point, yeah, I don't remember.
And I think he just wanted to, like, I think a lot of people who weren't part, if they could do anything to help, they would.
Yeah.
You know, like, boys trying to get in before they were 18, like, you know, everybody wanted to do their part, however small it was. And, you know, it took a lot of balls for him to say, no, we're going to, you know, when he picked up Cillian Murphy, it took a lot of courage for him to go, actually, mate, we're going to keep going, you know. And quite frankly, he was, Cillian Murphy was nuts. Quite rightly so. You know, shell shock. You know, I can't begin to imagine the wages of war and what it would do to a person's mind. But he was not firing on all cylinders. And he was dangerous. Absolutely. He had been trained. So for him to go, actually, mate, you have a cup of tea, we're going to keep pootling along. Yeah. Like, it took a lot of guts. And then he saved all those people. Yeah. But couldn't save George.
No. Couldn't save George.
Poor George.
Yeah. That was probably the saddest part of the film, if I'm honest. And because of the horrors of war thing that they were going for, and the very, very blunt description when, like, they'd left him safely under the docks, and then one of the soldiers they picked up just was like, he's dead. That's just brutal.
So be careful with him, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. That was like, really, this film really did. It felt very British in a way. It felt very like perseverance, stiff upper lip, kind of, will carry on, kind of, and made me feel a bit patriotic, if I'm honest.
Yes, I think out of any film that I have seen related to, like, either the First or the Second World War, it is one of the only ones that I can think of to make you truly appreciate what people had to deal with in war. And, you know, touch wood, thank God, like, we will never ever be in that situation as, you know, 20-something-year-olds. Like, we will never have to deal with going to war or having to fight. And, you know, it does make you really grateful, I think, for what people did do for us to, you know, let us be able to sit on our bums and talk to a microphone for 45 minutes a week. Yeah,
definitely.
But I felt I had a warm fuzzy feeling thinking about, you know, all those soldiers and what they did.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, some of the more exciting part of the film, I guess, the
dogfight.
The dogfighting. What do you think of that stuff?
Oh, those boys. Love an RAF.
They do.
I have a very soft spot for the RAF, as my uncles, not in, well, they were in wartime. They were in the first Gulf War, but they were RAF pilots. So anything RAF related gives me warm, fuzzy feelings, and they were just great. And
yeah, definitely.
my favourite bit of that was not really any of the fighting, but it was Tom Hardy at the end where he runs out of fuel and he has two choices. He can either deploy his parachute and get out, or he can keep going. And what does he do? He pulls his hood back down and he just glides. And he just glides back and forth across the beach.
Yeah.
Just protecting. And I just thought that was so beautiful. And just... I thought that was the best part of the film. It was
great.
So good.
Especially at the end, after that point where he gets captured.
They couldn't have let it have a happy ending though, could they?
Because I guess he was just making sure they all got off the beach, and then he was the last one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he did the right thing. He set fire to a Spitfire and all that.
Yeah.
Standard operating procedure. But no, he was great. Someone was saying that why would you hide Tom Hardy behind like a mask? But I think, honestly, he did great. I think it was awesome. I don't think you have to worry about his acting ever.
No.
And face acting or not, he did damn good. It was quite well tension built there as well, when like 10 minutes in he loses his fuel gauge. Just has no idea.
Yeah.
He's just winging it, quite literally winging it by writing the gallons on chalk next to the broken fuel gauge.
I've heard that before, where like I've heard that story before about a RAF pilot who like basically had to do the same thing, and they lost their compass as well. Okay. So they navigated. So they didn't know how much fuel they had. So they were basically taking it off of their co-pilot, another, and they'd lost their compass, so they were navigating by the stars, and they got from Dunkirk, or they got from somewhere back to England, and they managed to get home using the stars.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there are loads of war stories. It's pretty phenomenal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. There aren't that many other characters to talk about. I think Kenneth Branagh, Commander Bolton, is pretty good. Yeah. Again, he didn't feel like the type of officer who was just going to abandon his.
He was a
post.
navyman.
He was he was a good lad.
Well, he stayed, didn't he? I'm gonna bring back the French.
Yeah, which was quite nice. Yeah.
I think out of it, he was the one. Obviously, the Navy guys, they sort of had the most dialogue out of everyone in the film.
And it was mostly just going, "Oh, we're doomed."
Oh my god, what's going to happen next? But I guess again, being of that sort of rank, you're going to get all the bad news.
Definitely.
But then he was very good. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm not tired. He was very good. They were all very good.
Definitely.
Every one of them.
Yeah, definitely. You did say about the Christopher Nolan filter. You are not a massive fan of the blue, but
it's a very strong filter.
I think
but
people should stop having our own filters and just use like natural colour filming.
It's giving it a tone, isn't it?
But I mean, when every film you've ever made has the same tone.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. Interstellar has it. I also think The Prestige has it as well.
Yeah, it's very blue, that film, actually. Yeah, absolutely. But then
the Batman ones, they're more of a sort of brownie filter, aren't they?
They are a little bit,
particularly Batman Begins.
Yeah, they've all got this sort of brownie, sort of beigey thing going on.
Yeah.
But sometimes filters can be used for good effect. Like the Matrix trilogy, for example, there is a blue filter on all the scenes when they're in the Matrix, and when they're outside of the Matrix, there's a green filter, and it helps differentiate the scenes. And there are other like tricks they do to make it thematic as well as with the filter.
I think with this one they were trying to make it like sort of cold, weren't they?
Yeah.
With the use of that filter, but I'm not a fan of a filter, but I understand its purpose sometimes, but they're not my favourite.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't really have much else to say on that. What do you reckon? Anything else?
I think it's doing good in the box office, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you have some statistics to back me up.
Opening weekend, a 50 million open weekend for Dunkirk, so that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Compare that to Interstellar, which had another very strong opening, 47 million. I just think, I think now because of the Dark Knight trilogy, Christopher Nolan films have a sort of inbuilt audience now. I think. Yeah. I think it's just understood.
I think anyone who likes the Batman is gonna enjoyed Interstellar is gonna go and see this just to see
Inception, yeah, all of them.
Just to see a Christopher Nolan movie, but yeah. And it's been having amazing reviews as well. So
people do really like it.
Go and see it in the cinema if you have a chance, because
absolutely.
I think you'll only benefit from seeing it in a cinema.
For sure.
Yeah.
11 out of 10 hamsters.
Is that what you're going to give it?
I don't. We're not doing a rating system.
I give it a slow clap.
Yes. And like a slow clap and standing ovation as well?
Standing ovation, slow clap, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about before we go?
No, I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else. We mentioned how awesome Rick and Morty was up top, didn't we?
We did.
I think that's pretty much all I've been watching. Oh, and Twin Peaks, which we're not going to get into or ever talk about because you will hate it.
I do hate it.
You've not ever seen
it. I hated the 10 minutes that I saw this morning.
It is really...
With the weird frog bug or whatever you were saying.
It's a bit much. But I really like it. So maybe I'll just do a solo cast where I'm just talking about Twin Peaks for like an hour.
Okay, you do that.
Because
I don't care.
Because it's great, but yeah, you don't give a damn.
It ain't no Love Island, mate.
You don't watch Love Island.
No, I don't watch Love Island.
Don't pretend to be cool.
I am cool, shut up. I'm just going to go and watch Game of Thrones now.
Oh yes, we got season 7
episode 3. Already seen a load of spoilers for it on Twitter.
Oh my god.
God damn the Americans for getting it 12 hours before us.
Yeah.
Ruining it on Twitter.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Right then, yeah, alright. Let's wrap this baby up.
In a swaddled blanket.
Yeah. And
then you can wrap me in a swaddled blanket.
Yeah, with the British flag on it.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Is that Dam Busters?
I don't know. It was some British. Yeah.
I think it might be Dam Busters.
I'm just making music. I'm totally patriotic.
You are.
Thanks. It's too tired to know what comes out of my mouth right now. Yeah. Well, if you want to find us, you can find us on Twitter at CR4FloorPod. I'm on Twitter at BDogCarter.
At Speckle_15.
As always, I'd like to thank my buddy TenYearsGone for the opening music.
He's got a luscious beard.
Something luscious beard. He's at I am 10 years gone, no spaces on Twitter. He's 10 years gone on Spotify and Apple Music, no spaces. And you can spot him because his profile pic is just a picture of him on his computer with a big old beard. Because he has a big old beard.
Big old beard.
And
Tell us on Twitter which your favourite Christopher Nolan film is and why. We want to know.
Yeah.
And whether you like Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Let us know. Hit us up.
Oh yeah, at TCRF Pod. And yeah, we shall see you guys same time next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
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 Bye.